Hello, welcome to the Lululoves Crochet Podcast, episode 13. My name is Emma and this is my podcast all about crochet and crafts and anything else I've been loving really. I hope you're all well. We have just had the most glorious bank holiday weekend here. We've had about 4 days of solid sun and it was so needed. So we've been to the beach, we've had lots of barbecues and we've just really been enjoying our time in the garden. So I have got some things to show you, some finished items actually. I didn't podcast last week. I've had a bad case of startitis, I won't lie. I haven't worked on any of the projects that I showed you in my last episode. I just wasn't feeling it, so I started a few new projects and you know, some of them worked and some of them didn't, so I've really just had a week of sort of experimenting, but I will show you a few things that I have finished. We'll just get straight into it. So the first thing I finished was this granny square cushion. This is made in various different Aran, I think Aran or chunky weight yarns. I actually found the square in a pile of works in progress. I think maybe I must have started it on a workshop. Anyway, I really liked the colours and I still had a lot of the yarns, so I carried on with that, and I've just done a very simple, you know, you just crochet a really big granny square and then you put your cushion diagonally within it and then you just stitch it up at the back. Okay. I tried to do a sort of ruffle effect here, so I was sort of joining it with a chain one through both sides and then a chain one, double crochet or a US single crochet, and then I was chaining 3 in between each of the see if you can get a better look at that. Is that going to focus? Yeah, chaining 3, but I don't think it was quite enough, so it didn't really give it that ruffled effect I was looking for. In fact, it just made it look a bit messy really, but we'll ignore that. And then I just added some cute tassels on the end just to finish it off really. So yes, I didn't really need to make another cushion, but I didn't know what else to do with it, and I did really like the colours, and cushions are always really fun projects, and I buy these tiny infills from IKEA. They're smaller than standard cushion stuffers, so it's a really quick project. So I finished that. That was the first thing I finished. And then what else? Oh, I've been doing a lot of updating of my my blog, and I've been retaking some photos for it and updating a lot of the projects. You know, a lot of them have been on there for quite a while now, and obviously, you know, my pattern writing style, I suppose, has evolved. So I have been doing a lot of admin, and there were lots of other bits of the website that needed updating that hadn't been. So I have been working on that quite a lot. But I also, I think we had a sunny day. I just sat out in the garden and I started making up a load of these crochet collars. This pattern, this is one of the first patterns I ever wrote for my blog. And they're just really cute, easy, and you can sort of attach them to t-shirts or jumpers. They're so fun and quick to make. Anyway, I had loads and loads of leftover cotton, so what I've been doing is just sitting in the garden and making up lots of beautiful little collars. And I think, you know, it's good really to, so there we go, I've think I've got about 5 or 6 there in different colours. It's all DK cotton, it's all leftovers. I think you only need maybe 20-30 grams to make one of these. I haven't added buttons to all of them yet. I've got to get some more buttons. That one's got a cute little I don't know if this is focusing today. Yeah, cute little vintage yellow button there, and I will find some more buttons. I just thought that's really nice to have a stash of those for gifts, you know. So I've been doing those and enjoying those. So that's another finished object. Let's count each of those individually, shall we? So let's say that's another 5 finished objects. Then I won't feel so bad. And then the last finished object I have to show you is a pair of socks. Now, I saw these, I think, on the Inside Crochet Instagram account, and I knew straight away that I would want to make them. And I had, when I made the, what's it called? The goldenrod jumper, I had bought 5 balls of the Jarrell Heritage 4-ply yarn for it, because I wasn't sure how much I would need, because I was using a different yarn than what was recommended. So yes, I had a spare ball basically, and I just thought these socks would look really pretty in that yarn. So the pattern is from Inside Crochet. This is issue 101. I hope that's focusing today. And they are called the Pearl socks. And the pattern is by Vita Apala. I've not made any of her patterns before, but I can show you. I can show you that. I'm not sure if that's going to focus or not. It just catches my face. And again, probably the best thing to do is go on the Inside Crochet website and have a look. They're so beautiful. If I can, I'll pop an image in. They're worked with Malabrigo stock yarn. That's 100% merino wool. I bet that's quite nice actually, and really soft. My wool was obviously slightly more budget. I was using the Jarrell Heritage 4-ply. This is in the shade Parchment, I believe. And this is what I have left after making my goldenrod jumper and the pair of socks. So that's really good because it's not expensive yarn at all. Anyway, I'll show you the socks. So also in the Inside Crochet magazine, it came with 3, what are these called? Sock blockers. Just basic little ones, but I don't own any sock blockers. Like I said, I've only really started making socks this year, so they seem to do the job. I popped one of the socks on to show you, and here it is. Oh. Let's try and do that. It's got these really lovely, almost like little flowers, little sort of puff stitches and raised stitches, and you can make them as long as you want. And then this really beautiful ribbed edging on the heel. That's lovely. They're just really lovely cozy socks. Obviously they're not at all appropriate for summer. They're worked from the toe up, and all of these itty bitty stitches are double crochets. That's quite a lot of stitches, and I was working with a 3mm hook, and you're just working double crochet in the round really, which is fine, but it did take a bit of time. And I did sort of feel that once I'd finished one of the, what's this bit of the sock called? I don't know, the toe. Once I'd finished that, and then moved on and finished a whole sock, I wasn't sure that I would have the motivation to go and finish the other sock. So what I did is I worked this up, and then I started the second sock. So I was working them both alternatively, and then I worked the heel on this one, and then I worked the heel on the other one. There you go. So I haven't. Now, the only thing I would say about this is these ribbed stitches, they do make the, you see that? They do make the heel really, really sturdy, which is what you want in a heel. But and I did check my gauge with these because obviously I wanted them to fit, and I think what I had to do, because I didn't have a 3.25 crochet hook, I went down to a 3, and then I went up a sock size, and they fit perfectly. This bit of the foot fits beautifully. I just feel that the heel is a little bit short, and it just, I feel like I would like a little bit more of a heel. Yeah, I would just like it to come up a bit higher. That's the only thing I would say about the pattern, really. Yeah, just, I mean, they're wearable and they fit. And then, yeah, you just, you know, crochet this bit, which is the really fun quick bit at the leg, and you can make that as long or as short as you want, I suppose. I just did exactly the amount of repeats that the pattern had suggested. But yeah, I mean, this yarn isn't the softest yarn. It's not at all itchy though, which is what I really liked about it. It's the Wool Rich. I can't remember the makeup, but I'll put all the details in the show notes and they'll be on my blog. So it's not at all itchy. I'm not getting any itch factor from it, and it does soften up when it washes. So, and that's a really lovely colour. It's called Parchment, but it looks almost like a dusky pink. It sort of looks different in different lights. Sometimes it looks a bit more plain and a bit more sort of tan, and other times it looks lovely in pink. Anyway, I really, really loved that pattern. I think if I were to make them again, I definitely would. I would just add some more to the heels. And the other thing it said to do was to slip stitch the heels together. If I turn this one inside out, you might be able to see. I haven't sewn in my ends, don't judge me. There you go. So I slip stitched, and I feel like you get this little bit of a ridge. It's not uncomfortable, but I feel like I would be better sewing those together with a needle and thread, and maybe that's why the heels were a bit tight, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's a really lovely pattern that you can find in the latest issue. And there's a whole section on socks in this issue. So it's a really good, there's a whole article on crochet socks. So there's a good 3 or 4 pages. There's socks by Vicky Brown, and then there's the pearl socks. Oh, these are really pretty. I don't know how to show you without showing you the pattern itself. Some really pretty socks there by Claire. Really lovely. Anyway, check that out if you want to make some crochet socks. And that is it for finished objects. Like I said, I've been in a very strange place. Oh, actually, there's one more little thing. Again, like I said, I just wasn't feeling any of my current projects, and sometimes it goes like that. You just put them down for a while and have a break, and then I find I zoom through them when I get back to them. Yeah, so I was sort of playing with texture. Is that going to focus? just came up with this little motif that's, I don't think you can see that very well, it's sort of a raised flower. Can you see? That's really pretty. I put a picture on my Instagram, sort of asked what I could do with it. I think it would be quite nice as a blanket. I don't have time to do anything with it now, so I will save that one. I'm going to put it up on my notice board, and I will save that for later when I've got a bit more time. And that is it for my finished objects. So not too bad. I was really happy with the socks. And then the only work in progress I have, apart from all the patterns that I was working on in the last episode, is I've started to work on a little cotton market bag. So I'm all about working in the cotton at the moment. It's been very hot, and my hands have been a bit sore, so I haven't been working with wool yarn at all really, apart from the socks. And even I was finding the small hook was hurting my hands a bit. So I'm working up my version of a market tote. So creased. So this is what I've got so far. There we go. Doesn't look like much at the moment, does it? Got some, it's a really simple bag. And I'm using granny stitch, good old granny stitch. So all I've got to do now is work out what I want to do for the handles. I mean, I'm going to crochet some because, you know, not everyone wants to go out and buy straps. I did actually buy some handles, but I'm going to have a go at crocheting them first, and then I'm going to just put the pattern for that one up on my blog, because I think that's a really nice, simple, and it's a beginner-friendly pattern as well, so not much to that. So that's my contribution to the world of market totes. So hopefully that will be finished. That's what I'm working on at the moment, and I've been enjoying working on that. So it's always nice to work on your own projects. So I will get that written up and posted on the blog for next week. So there's that. And oh, sorry. And yes, so that is it for all the crochet bits. I haven't bought any new yarn. I'm looking around. Oh, I did buy some new knitting needles. Wait there a minute. I'll go and see if I can find them. I found them. So the only thing I've bought recently are these little, they're 4.5mm. They're called Higher Sharp Stainless Steel Circular Knitting Needles. Basically, I came across a lovely pattern, a knitting pattern, for some, I think they were like little, almost like sock shoes. I'll link the pattern in the blog post. I can't even remember who it was by. But I had looked through, and it was very simple stitches, and there was some simple decreasing to do, so I practiced that and made sure I could do it first. And it was written for circular, 4.5mm circular needles. Well, obviously, you know, I'm new to knitting, so I didn't have any. So I just went on Amazon and ordered some. And this is what arrived. Can you see those? I mean, they're so small, I don't even think it will focus. What trickery is this? what am I supposed to do with these? I mean, they're so tiny. I've done something wrong, definitely. I mean, for one, this is not going to be big enough, I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure how this little setup works. But also, I've got fingers bigger than these. I mean, how do people actually knit with these? There's no way I'm going to be able to use these. Not yet, anyway. So I'm a bit sad, really, because now I can't start my pattern, and I've got these teeny weeny knitting needles that I don't think I'm going to be able to use for a while. So I need some 4.5mm circular needles for this pattern. What do I need to look for? Obviously this cord has got something. So this is a 23cm cord. And obviously I need to look for a bigger cord, but I also would like my needles to be a bit bigger than this. I don't think I would be able to manage that. Anyway, let me know if you have any recommendations, because these have scared the life out of me. So I really would like to try that little pattern, but I'm not going to attempt anything on those. So that's the only thing I have purchased, very sadly. And the other thing that I did recently with a friend was we booked to go on to a calligraphy course at the Makery in Bath. And they do loads of lovely workshops there. And we went up on a Sunday, and I think the course was 2.5 hours, and it was run by Meticulous Ink. I think they're based in Bath as well. And I think the lady's name, she had a really pretty name. I feel like it was Athena or something like that, but I'll put all the details in the blog post. Anyway, so we went for 2.5 hours, and they provided you with, you got to take all this home. So we had the little pots of ink, that's their own ink. And then your own quill to make a start with. And some practice paper, and then there's a hand lettering guide sheet that she'd created for us, and she basically took us all the way through the alphabet. Here are a few of my practice sheets. I really enjoyed it. It was 2 hours. There's another one. 2 hours where I just didn't focus on anything other than practicing letters, and yeah, that's the sort of activity that just really frees you from the stresses of everyday life. I really enjoyed it. It was really nice, and I think there weren't very many of us, maybe 10 around the table, so it was a really nice, relaxed environment, and she was really lovely and very good. She makes it look so easy. It's actually quite hard to sort of get the angle of the pen right. So I enjoyed it so much. So we got to bring our ink and our quill home so that we could practice. But I did buy from her on the day a practice notepad. So this is just a little calligraphy practice, and it's got all the, I don't know if that's even going to focus. I don't think you can see that, can you? The slopes, and then it's got all the XDA, where you put the, look. There we go. Where you put the tops of the letters and the bottoms and that. So so I've got a lovely big thick pad to practice on now. And when I get some spare time, I might sit and practice for a bit. I did say to my friends, I'm going to be writing some really fancy Christmas cards this year. And we laughed because we'll probably have forgotten all about it by then. But it was a really lovely afternoon. So I definitely recommend checking the Makery out. We booked online and paid for it all online, and it was really easy. So I definitely enjoyed that. So I might look at some more courses there. Get the time really. And that is it really for all the crafty bits. I have been reading, I flew through this book. This is called The Child by Fiona Barton, is it? Yes, it is. This is, I think I read this in about 3 days. It's one of those really easy to read sort of crime mystery novels. It starts off with the discovery of a body. It's a newborn, which is a little bit sad. and then it's told through the perspectives of three women. One of them's a journalist who gets onto the story. The other lady is, it's really sad actually, her daughter was stolen the day she was born from the maternity hospital, I think 40 years prior. And then there's another character that's, you know, got something to hide. So it's really lovely how they all sort of interlink, and there's some really good twists in it. So if you like those, nice easy read, that was definitely a good one. And then I am now reading Anne Bronte's The Tenant of Wildfell. Oh, look at that lovely cover as well. Isn't that beautiful? I took this one to the beach at the weekend, so I'm working my way through it. You know, these classics, I've never read this one, you know, and I do like a lot of the Bronte's books. One of my favourite books is Wuthering Heights. I think that's Emily Bronte, but I'd never read this one. And I've heard lots of good things about it, and it does remind me a bit of My Cousin Rachel, you know, dark, apparently single, mysterious woman, single in sort of Victorian times. It's a little bit unheard of, so I do really like that, and I am it's the sort of book that I'm just relishing. I'm just, you know, I read a couple of chapters and I really, really enjoy it. I enjoy the language and the characters, and they're so descriptive, these types of books, but, you know, they're not page turners, like, you know, you're not desperate to see what happens next, but that's a really beautiful one. And like I said, I've never read it, so I'm trying to work my way through more of the classics that I've missed out on over the years. So this is my latest. I'm enjoying that, and that is it really. On telly we have been enjoying The Woman in White. Yeah, it's not quite what I was expecting, but I am enjoying it. You know, there are a few sort of character differences, I think, from the book, but yes, I'm tuned in, I'm watching that. And the other thing I'm really enjoying at the moment, I'm watching it with my eldest daughter, and Rob has got into it as well, so I'm sort of at various stages with both of them, is The Alienist on Netflix. That's a really good, I think it's set in, I think it's the late 1700s, it might be the 1800s. It's in America, and the alienist is, well, he's basically a psychologist, and he's looking into a series of murders. It's got some really good actors in it. It's got Dakota Fanning in it. It's just really, really good and really interesting. A little bit gruesome, but really, really getting into that, really enjoying the characters as well. So, and I think the sort of premise was with The Alienist is that I suppose psychology was still a new field, so they referred to people that were separated from themselves, people that had mental health issues, as aliens, and the people that studied them alienists. I don't know if that's correct or not. I'd never heard of the term before, but anyway, it's a really, really good series. We've not got to the end of it yet, but really good. And that is everything. So I hope you're all well. I will be back in a couple of weeks with another podcast, and before that I will hopefully have the market bag pattern up on the blog, and the show notes for this will also be on the blog with all the links and details of the yarns and things like that I can't remember. And I think that's it for today. I feel like I may have forgotten something, because once again I didn't even write notes today. Look, living on the edge. But I think that's everything anyway, so take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.